Well, hello again. This is D.R. Rawson. I'm the executive director for Las Vegas, and we're interviewing today the owners of the company, and we want to find out some information. So, give you a little background, a little comfort as to who's who, and why we do what we do, and where we're going. So, let's begin with where did this name Lights There come from?
Well, thank you, DR. My brother and I, probably about 5, 6 years ago, were looking for another business to get involved in, and we looked at the next wave to go and have fun with and build a business. And so we looked at different businesses, like we looked at the Bitcoin business. It was exciting, but a highly regulated industry. And then we looked at several companies to buy, and one came across. It was called Eyes There, and they sold closed circuit TV to commercial businesses. And they built a national model with a franchise, and they built it all over the United States. And we were thinking, hey, that might be a good idea. But then what we looked at was the fact that we found that it's not an Amazon-proof business, meaning a small businessman can go buy on Amazon a whole bunch of closed circuit cameras and install them himself. And we're thinking, well, that isn't going to work. And so some of the criteria that we wanted to look at was we want to be Amazon proof. We want to be in a market where there's not a lot of people. We want to be in something that everybody can't get into easily. So the entrance is not as easy. And it's a growth area. And so we were looking at certain industries, and we ran across one company that was doing LED lighting retrofits. And we started to study the market, and we realized that 80% of all businesses, or even 90% back then, had fluorescent lights, old HID lights outside. And we realized that there's a niche here to set up a business. And so what we did is we started the company called Lights There. We were actually going to integrate it with Eyes There. And then we thought, let's just make it Lights There. And that's how we kind of birthed the name of Lights There. And away we went.
Well, it's a good choice. It certainly tells exactly what we do. We put lights there.
Yes.
So that's great. So this company has come a long ways. We've been in business now how many years?
Just a little over 5.
Over 5. And in that time, we've had literally hundreds of clients, most of which have been in the Northwest. So we started in Portland and then went to Eugene next, and then to Seattle. And then I guess somebody must have been on TV or something, looked out and said, look at all those lights in Las Vegas. And that seemed like a good idea at the time. Hopefully it's still a good idea since I'm sitting here, but we see Las Vegas as being a tremendous opportunity. And now we're down in Phoenix as well, and that looks like a great opportunity. And as good as those opportunities are, where do you see us going with this whole business? Where are we headed? Steve, what do you think?
Oh, thanks, DR. Well, I see the market as being, very much a growth market. As Thomas just mentioned, maybe we're at 10 to 20% of the commercial and industrial lights have been upgraded to new energy efficient LEDs. So they're still the bulk of the market. And then even after we've got all of the rest of the 80% of the market, there's still going to be continually maintenance. There's going to continue to be new construction. There's going to continue to be new products come out, better, more efficient products. Within 5 years or so, products we're changing out things that people put in 5, 6, 10 years ago that were some of the early adopters in LEDs, and now we're putting in much more efficient products. So what used to be a 22-watt fixture is now a 12-watt fixture, and getting more light out of 12 watts compared to what we got out of 22 a few years ago. Who's to say 5 years from now, maybe that's a 5-watt fixture, and we can go out and do it again. And, if every time we go out, we can save them 50% over their previous technology, it's still worth doing. So it's a long-term business, and there's always going to be maintenance. There's always going to be new construction. There's always going to be a new school being built. So it'll be a never-ending business.
Well, that's great. Norm, talk to us about personnel. How many do we have now?
I think, are you talking pre-COVID or after COVID? I think we're probably, with all the outside salespeople, in the 30 to 35 personnel mark.
Okay. And where are we headed, Thomas? Where are we going with that?
Well, our goal is we've got offices in Seattle, Portland, Eugene, Las Vegas, and Phoenix, and the goal is we want to be all over the United States. Our goal is to be America's premier LED lighting company. And when we first started off, we started printing off our brochures that we would hand out, and on the front of it, it said America's premier LED lighting company. And that was our vision, is you got to have a vision, and our vision was to be the largest and the best. And we've done that, and we've got lights there, electricians there, and lights there capital. So we integrate everything.
Okay. Well, that's great. Now, I know that we're also headed down the road of technology, and unfortunately, this pandemic came at a bad time. I don't know if there's any good time to have one, but what it did do for us was spur some additional ideas and move us forward in the direction we were already headed as anyway. And Steve, you've been at the forefront of that. Tell us about the things that are to come.
Well, sure. So we've been doing LED lights, and LEDs have been getting better and better, and more control over them. Long time ago, all we had was a little red LED, and then they discovered blue LEDs and green ones, and all these different colors, and so you mix all that together, you start getting white light, and now we can control circadian rhythm lighting. We can have warm sunrise kind of colors. We can have sunset colors. We can have nice bright sunny days in our offices. But some of the other stuff that's also happening is ultraviolet light. So now we can produce with an LED ultraviolet light source, which is not in the human visible range, but you can do other things with it. So you can cure like glues and different things. You'll see UV LEDs curing your dental things. But so what we've been thinking about for the last few years is how can we use ultraviolet light to help. And so about 4 years ago, I was working on a project that was using ultraviolet light to kill mold spores in indoor growing environments. And so we could stop mold from spreading by hitting it with some UV every night. So I started thinking about it and talking to Thomas about it about 3 years ago, that we could use UV light to do other things to kill airborne viruses and bacteria and mold spores and fungi spores and all that kind of stuff. And so we've been thinking about this for quite some time. And so now with the pandemic, it's like, okay, this is the right time to go ahead and put this into practice and be able to actually build a product that can save lives and be a game changer for people across many industries, and be there for the right time for the right reasons, and create a product that now can save lives by cleaning the air, by bringing airborne viruses, airborne bacteria into the fixture, killing it and exhausting clean air, killing the stuff and interrupting the DNA and the RNA of the viruses, so that anyway, it's a game changer product. And so we're very excited about bringing this to the world, because it's the right product at the right time, and should be something that we can do and help humanity.
So here we sit on the precipice of a great market ahead of us for the future. Everybody's going to be concerned about mold and spores and viruses and all kinds of bacteria. with things that we never thought we'd have to consider before. And so now we do. And we're sitting at the forefront of that. And that's great. But our core business is still LED lighting for all types of businesses. Is that correct, Norm?
That is correct. When my brother and I first got into the business, statistically, I think it was less than 5% adaptation, and that included roadway lighting, schools, federal, private. And since we've been in the business, the adaptation is still less than 18%. So the opportunity is just tremendous in terms of lighting projects and retrofitting, and we just see this as a real dynamic growth industry.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think anybody listening would think that you're absolutely right too. Well, is there any closing comments that any of you want to add? Thomas?
Yeah, I would say that if you're looking at this as an opportunity, you're at the right place at the right time. And I believe in one's life, you're given one or two opportunities that are absolutely real, that you could make a lot of money. And you might get 10 opportunities in your lifetime, maybe one or two are actually real. The question I have for you, is this your first or your second one? This is a real opportunity to be a part of saving lives and saving energy. And the other thing is, for me, one of the things that I believe our company is a mission-driven company, not a money-driven company. We're saving the environment. And what we're doing is we're actually reducing the CO2 carbon footprint. As we roll out LED lights in business and offices and hospitals and assisted care facilities, we're lowering our carbon footprint on the planet. And for me, that's what I'm doing this for, is to help another generation, my grandkids, have a better world out there.
That's great. Norm, any closing thoughts?
I just agree with my brother on all of that. Ditto.
Okay, great. Steve, anything closing?
Sure. I think, yes. I mean, the company is evolving and getting bigger and better and stronger every day. And the market's getting better every day. And we've come through a, pretty heavy recession these last few months. But our business is still just as viable as ever. Even more so that people are hurting. They need to be able to save money. They need to be able to replace some of their income. We have great rebates and things like that. So, the product's really not that hard to sell because everybody needs it. Everybody wants it. They just need to be educated about it. And so we have a great opportunity to do that, to tell the story. And as Thomas just mentioned, it's a win-win-win kind of scenario because we can save the environment, we can save money, we can save lives. So it's there's just so many reasons to feel good about what we're doing.
I'm going to just give an unsolicited testimony to this, if I may. Those watching this video probably don't know me either, just like they're just becoming familiar with you. But I've had 26 different companies in my lifetime. Some of them were real stinkers. Some of them were excellent. And like Thomas suggested, one or two in your lifetime really come along and make you a lot of money. And I've had that circumstance. I've been fortunate 3 times already. And now that I'm associated with Lights There, I see this is the 4th time and probably the final time for me. So it's a great opportunity for anybody that wants to really jump in and do something good for humanity, do something good for themselves and their family, leave a legacy. And I think all of that's important. And here's a chance to do it in a company that is people friendly, and we value the work that everybody does. The other thing I'd like to say about this company is that I'm proud of the fact that I can pick up the phone and call any one of you guys or anybody else in the company, and everyone is willing to help. So I'll close up then with those of you who are watching this for the first time. You be grateful that you found this company and that you have an opportunity that's unprecedented. What you do with it is totally up to you. But remember this, you only get out of something exactly what you put in. So it's up to you. Thank you very much for watching. This has been D.R. Rawson, Executive Director for Las Vegas, saying thank you, Thomas. Thank you, Norm. Thank you, Steve. And we will see you around the water cooler. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye now.
Bye.
All right. How did that go, guys? You happy with that?
Yeah.
The big question is,